Let's have a glance over the ideas and views of Sayyid Jamaluddin Afghani. Dear learners, when we discuss in detail about his ideas and views, what we found that his ideas was based on two notions that very important. The first notion is that his proclaimed goal was to unite the Islamic world under a single caliph who is residing in Istanbul, Sultan Abdul Hamid II. That his view was that to call all the Muslims that they should accept the caliphate of the Ottoman Sultan and to consider him as the supreme leader of the Muslim community. Through this, he means that the Muslim community should bridge up the gap, bridge up the differences that has developed in due course of history. Either the philosophical, either the political, either the religious, and many more. The gap should be bridged up. And as it will get bridged up, then we can get united. Because basically, he was promoting the unity among the Muslim world and considering that we all should follow one Khalifa. The Khalifa at that time was residing in Istanbul. Another notion was he sought to modernize Islam. He talked about the modern aspect. Basically, he was of the view to bring awareness among the Muslim community to accept the change in the society, in the thoughts, to make it responsive, as he has personally observed and has seen that it is a need of the age. That if we need modern education, then we should thrive for that one. Now, further, when we analyze some more views, he advocated for the ijtihad. That was not applied in the Muslim community since it was considered the door of ijtihad has been closed in the 9th century. He said, no, the door of the ijtihad can't be closed because ijtihad is a medium to understand the faith. We needed newer interpretation as per the need and time. So without ijtihad, we can't understand it. So he advocated for the implementation of ijtihad. The ijtihad should be used widely, excessively for the interpretation of Islam, to understand Islam in a better way and in a better manner. Furthermore, he emphasized the necessity, as I have just said, education. It was the time, the 19th century, in whole Muslim world, many reformers, many thinkers were advocating on the importance of education. either religious or non-religious, either traditional, either modern. They were advocating for that one. So, like them, Sayyid Jamaluddin Afghani has also emphasized on the necessity of education. And why? It is for self-strengthening within the Muslim society. Because education plays an important role in the development of a society. This was his view. Further, he was of the opinion that the Muslims should have a political unity under the Ottoman Caliph. We should politically unite. Instead of being divided and considering for our material things, it's better to unite and to follow the command of the Khalifa of the time. Further, what we find that he opposed Western imperialism. He was just dead against the British imperialism, the Russian imperialism, the Chinese imperialism. Basically, he was against the imperialism, majorly against the Western, because the Western power, the European power, had sought their interests, had showed their interest in the Muslim world. Main purpose of his opposition was to promote Islamic solidarity. And it will be a form of liberation for them. This one. Dear learners, as I have mentioned, his work, Al-Rad ala al-Tahireen, it is a very important philosophical work of Sayyid Jamaluddin Afghani. Let's have an analysis on this one. Why he refuted the materialism? What was going in his brain that he has refuted it? Now, in his work, this particular work, he has criticized the scholar like Democritus and Darwin, who were basically the nationalist and materialist philosopher, because they deny directly and indirectly the existence of God. It doesn't they do not believe in the existence of God. They were almost atheists. So he considered them as a materialist. So he refuted such scholars. And he was of the opinion it was just because of the materialistic thought and theory that has created blunder in the societies. Sayyid Jamaluddin Afghani considered that religion has taught humanities a three fundamental beliefs. What are they? It is angelic or spiritual nature. It is of angelic or spiritual nature. Further, he was of the view that the belief of every religious community in its superiority over other group. And The assertion that our existence in this world is but a prelude to the higher life, in the world entirely free from sorrow and suffering. It means he was talking about the life after this life. He was talking about the salvation. So he considered that the religion taught the three fundamental beliefs. Further, he, in his work, Al-Rad al-Tahirin, has viewed that religion implants in its believers the three traits that are the honesty, the modesty, the truthfulness. It is because of the religion and the materialist people, or the concept of materialism doesn't have such thing in them. They are not honest, they are not modest, they are not truthful. So that's why he had outrightly rejected. Sayyid Jamaluddin Afghani based his philosophy on the theory of history in which religion is portrayed as a catalyst force in the progress of humanity. He considered that the religion, the faith, is a catalyst toward the progress of humanity. Because it is a faith, the religion, that is addressing many things. It is addressing the existence of the humanity, the purpose of the humanities. Thus, he based his philosophy on this theory. Further, we can say that his philosophical views he revealed a great deal of faith in the human mind. Like he said, the brain is a very good thing because it has a capacity for innovation based on knowledge rather than ignorance. It can create, it can understand the thing in a deeper manner, in a straight manner, in a perfect manner. And a very remarkable thing, what he had tried to address in his Al-Rad al-Tahrin, that while discussing his philosophy, he somehow predicted the day will come, the people will reach the moon. And this is a step in a series of strides by mankind, but they are progressing. So he was talking a view of modernizing the modern aspect, as he believed that nature and the universe were created so that we could continue the challenge of unraveling their secrets. We can understand much more about the cosmos, about the universe. Whatsoever is in the universe, we can see with our open eyes. We can do research. We can use technologies. And somehow we can also try to step in these things what we are observing in the spaces, in the universe. So he was at that time, towards the end of the 19th century, he has somehow predicted the day will come, the man will land on the moon. And in his Al-Rad al-Tahrin, as I had to discuss, it was again the views of Democritus and Darwin. Now, on the theory of evolution, he outrightly disagreed with Darwin because Darwin, when he discussed the theory of evolution of a mankind, that he said that the human beings are being developed from monkeys. Simply, he do not agree with. He create that he thinks that the theory of evolution is based on the theory of the Quran. That how Allah has created the humankind. And it is only Allah Almighty, the God, who is powerful of creating the thing. So all the creation who has been created is by the God, is by the Allah Almighty. Darwin doesn't feel because he was an atheist. He doesn't believe how the human progeny has progressed. Dear learners, let's discuss why he advocated pan-Islamism. Because we used to say that Sayyid Jamaluddin Afghani was a champion and advocate of pan-Islamism. He was the first one to talk about the pan-Islamism. Let's have a discussion, a small discussion on that one. Sayyid Jamaluddin advocated for the union of all Islamic people or all the Muslims under the same caliphate for the purpose of emancipating themselves from foreign domination. He was talking about a unified Muslim group. That all Muslims who are living across the borders throughout the world, they all should unite. And if they will unite, they will become much more powerful. And not a single one can keep an eye on that one, can lie a bad eye, evil eye on them. So this was his purpose of unifying the Muslims. So pan-Islamism, the concept like that. While debating on his concept of pan-Islamism, he used to say that the European state justifies the attack and humiliation inflicted by them upon the countries of the East on a pretext of latest backwardness. Whatsoever the issues the countries of the East, especially the Muslims countries, were facing, they attacked them and tried to justify that they are backward. They doesn't want to upgrade themselves. So that's why they are subjected to tyranny and oppression. So this was his purpose of unifying the Muslims under the umbrella of Islam. The idea of pan-Islamism was propounded by him along with his disciple Muhammad Abduhu when they had started their journal Al-Urwatul Wasaqa. the unbreakable bond, because in this one they had talked about the unification of the Muslims and how it is possible. They had discussed at length. He further maintains that if the Muslims were once united under the one glorious empire, and the achievement in learning of philosophy and on all sciences are still the boost of the Muslims. What he considered that the same thing can be followed again. What was at the time of the companions, the Khulfa Rashidun, under the Umayyads, under the Abbasid, they became the champion. Once again, they can become the champion. This was his purpose of uniting, that they can also regain what they had lost. He further also maintained that it is a duty incumbent upon all the Muslims to aid in maintaining the authority of Islam and Islamic rule over all Muslim land. Don't be divided. It's a duty of you to get united, to think over the unification, leaving all sort of differences among them. So this was his concept of pan-Islamism, and he advocated it very much. And throughout his life, he had worked for the strong bond between the Muslims of different regions. That's why he had traveled extensively, here and there also. He met with many people. He talked about this thing. He also maintained that the Muslims are not permitted under any circumstances to make peace with and be conciliatory with toward any other, anyone who contend their mastery over the land until they obtain complete authority without sharing it with anyone else. It means he was talking about that the Muslims should not consider anyone supreme until unless somehow they are not in a position. His pan-Islamic ideas were well received by the Muslim world. All the place, wherever his ideas floated, they received it well. Now, this has raised an alarm in the Britishers, and they banned it. And even it resulted into the end of the publication of their journal, the Mouthpiece, Al-Urwatul Wasaqa. Only 18 editions were published. And togetherly, Sayyid Jamaluddin Afghani and Muhammad Abdu had stopped its publishing. Thank you very much.